wrap up is really funny. I love it here. Hello, welcome. I have no.
Did you just wake up, Jay?
No, the Jay is not here. He's already. He still has enough. He still has enough energy to flip me off, though.
Right before we went live.
Right before we went live, but it's okay. No one can see his short, stubby hand anyway.
He act like he's freaking has a hangover or some shit. He's literally just
I
tired.
run on worse hours. I run on worse hours of sleep. Not too much,
Right?
but then again, he is older than me, so I understand.
Literally, when we were working at Target, I used to work those 4 a.m. shifts. I would be on like 2 or 3 hours of sleep at best.
We don't talk about those shifts.
Y'all are insane. That's why. I don't know why y'all did that to yourselves. Why y'all agreed to that abuse.
You want
That
to
is
know the worst
abuse.
part is? It wasn't abuse until Andrelas messed up the whole system.
Oh,
Well-
we're just gonna blame her. You know what?
I
Yeah,
blame it all on her because like she told everyone to go through like the whole thing and like bring up everything and be like, oh, you don't see, she did a job. He was like, go there and put zeros. So technically, she didn't do her part. She did her part for the sales floor. Someone, I don't know who started to backstock and then actually backstock stuff, so things were getting lost in the system.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Just put zero everything out, and then we would have so much excess.
Yeah, because the thing is, they were coming up and they're like, oh, they're not here. But someone's been putting them in like the shelves to be backstocked, but they're not backstocking it.
All right,
And
you
they
don't
just
have.
got
You
worked
can take off those shades now.
They do come
Nah,
back out
nah.
in the cast, but at least if it comes back in the calves, at least it's still registered as it coming out and it says something.
I think I'm gonna keep these on, producer. I think I'm gonna keep
This
these
man.
on.
I hate this man
He's
so
like
much.
one of those celebrities who's like in an early meeting, script read or whatever.
He just finished doing coke and now he don't know what to
Right?
do on him.
Exactly.
He got the nose for it, that's for sure.
Damn.
What is a what? What the hell? Excuse me, brother. What is that supposed to be? What is the nose for it?
You got giant nostrils, like I do.
Yeah, we got the
You
mega
see-
noses. Yep. Mm-hmm.
You see Producer Jay, how you can't. Producer Jay's got the short nostrils. He just got his thing.
I
is
just got
more
a big nose. It's long.
Yeah, like
Oh.
your nostrils aren't big. That's why you're not built for it. Brother Jay, on the other hand, you see the nostrils were deep. Yo, please don't.
Don't do that.
Oh, that's a red flag. Oh, speaking of that, right?
That's
Oh,
a red flag.
hashtag segues.
To this,
You know, I don't
Yeah.
understand. I mean, before we get to like the red flag thing, like what you just did, Jay, like how do you like I can't I mean I could like snore or whatever, but you know how those people who can like scratch the back of their throat? But
oh my god,
how do
That-
you do that?
It's a practice that you practice if you have allergies. Like you just
Then that's what it is. Cause
He's
Yeah.
been practiced.
Natalie does that
lying.
too, and it's like how?
Eh,
it sounds like something else, but I don't do those activities. I just have allergies.
Sure, that's
Uh-huh.
what you want to tell everybody.
Yeah. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I don't care what you
I'm
say.
I'm a child of good gods, more religion. So I will not comment on those statements.
So red flags. Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah,
no, not the
flags.
board game. No, not the board game this time.
What are
So
some
I
of
do
your
like
Well, I guess okay. So I guess we can kind of like segment this into like different aspects.
yeah. So
like-
pretty much, I forgot what I was. Pretty much this morning, I was listening to nonsense like I normally do at 6 o'clock in the morning. And this one person,
I'm sorry. It's too early. That's too early to be listening to nonsense.
I gotta wake up somehow.
Do you not take the train?
Yeah, that's how I
Right,
wake
you
up.
can see nonsense going.
And I mean, I listen to it too.
Yeah, I gotta listen to nonsense at home, so I'm fully awake when I get to the train to be ready for these homeless people trying to catch them. Like that homeless person now, unfortunately, got killed on the train on Monday. But oh no, unfortunately, he was talking crap, so the passengers decided to take it in their own hands. Well, regardless of that, this comes from a thing of, like, women were complaining on Twitter, because you always got to complain on Twitter, that men in the workplace are too professional now.
What?
I'm sorry, what?
Excuse me, brother.
Yeah, I don't.
Excuse me, brother.
Your excuse. So
What does
pretty
that
much, I don't
mean?
get- Apparently, this one person was very upset that, like, they work in an office or whatever their workspace is. They work in a place where, like, she's like either she's like the only female or like she's one of two females in that office or that workspace. And one of her complaints was that, like, she would try to talk to her coworkers and all this stuff, but in her words, they were too professional. They would, like, they would only talk to her about certain things and keep a distance from her. And I
Wait,
was
like talk to as in like flirting and stuff like that?
no, I think she's like, I think just trying to, like, most people, like, people go to work, sometimes they want to make friends. And all her coworkers
That's
like,
true.
nah, you a coworker for a reason.
That's
Like, I don't wanna
that's
talk to-
one thing that I never understood, and maybe it's a weird thing for me. But when people go to work to make friends and just like treat it like it's high school all over again,
Nah.
that's a red flag for me. Like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
go to work. I don't go to make
Yeah, no.
friends.
If I so happen to make a
Yes.
friend, it just so happens to happen. But I'm not going in to make friends. My goal is to go in there, get this job done, and then move on
Get
and
money.
move on with my day. I don't
Can I
want to talk
speak
about
as a
my.
supervisor?
What do you want, supervisor?
Like everything that y'all just said is 100% facts. Like I ain't here to be your friend, nigga. Like if we become friends, okay, cool. Because you got to be cool with your people you got to
Yeah.
be cool with the people that you work with,
Of
or else
course.
we not gonna get this job done. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But to come here to make friends, hell no. We here to do a job and go home,
Right.
ma'am.
I don't
You
want to
know?
talk about. I don't want to talk about kids. I'm like, you may have kids. That's cool. You don't need to know if I got kids.
Right.
You don't need to know my living situation, where I live, my favorite place. Like, I got a
could do
job
that
to do.
Off hours. Like,
Right.
we don't have to
We
do
don't
that
gotta
right
do it off
now.
hours. We gotta do it at all.
Well, that yes, but I feel like people just love to talk, and it gets to the point where I just yes them to death sometimes. I just be like, yeah.
I don't even say yes.
I don't
got
say- I don't
Like, oh,
say a
that's
thing.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that's
Like,
crazy.
wow,
son.
really?
I learned that.
I don't
I
know.
think we learned that from our homes. I do that. I used to do that shit all the time in my house. My mom would be like, "You won't believe when she did this." I was like, word. It was crazy.
Dang.
Would never have guessed it. And she'd be like, "Are you listening?" I'd be like, "No, but I don't think it matters anyway." Like, I don't think it matters while I was listening anyway. Well, the honest truth.
There's my
Nah,
coworker.
producer is right. That's a major red flag.
Yeah,
Like-
my coworker, like, he always likes to complain, and there'll be some times where he has legitimate complaints, but then there'll be times where he is clearly in the wrong, but he's still complaining anyway. And I just
it don't matter. It don't matter if he's in the wrong. It did
yeah,
not
and
matter.
he's just gonna complain anyway, and it gets to the point where I'm just like, yeah, it happens, man. I don't know.
Like, you right, my guy. You right. Mhm.
I know I would
Mhm.
never say he's right because I'm not trying to boost his ego.
Oh no, I don't. I don't say anyone's right because just in case, because I'm not listening, they can get away with saying so. It's like, see,
Exactly.
that's why women don't deserve to be in the workplace. Like, like, yeah,
Well,
you're right.
I was
You'd
mostly
be like,
taking
wait,
like
wait, hold on. What did I just say?
no,
Oh,
because
shit.
I would be afraid more so like if they go to complain to somebody and be like, yeah, Jeremy backed me up, right? I'm be like, hey. I was just yesing
Oh,
you.
my favorite thing. Someone put a video of conversations you have, and I ran it through my friend that was in the army. He was like one of his people, because my friend and my bro that used to be in the army used to drive the tank driver. And one of his gunners was like, one of his gunner goes like, everyone kisses their sister in the mouth once in a while. He was like, everyone?
Jeez, bro.
Is he from like the South?
Alabama. Yeah,
I don't
from
know.
Alabama.
Alabama?
I don't know. I didn't
Mississippi.
I didn't ask too many questions.
The
I
deep
remember-
state.
I remember him and bro was like, "You be." It's like I get a lot of weird things. He's like, I got a lot of people I used to be bunking with that used to like be married to their second cousins or just cousins. And I'm like, dude, you just had the worst time, didn't you?
There was that's funny you mentioned that. It reminds me of a story I heard of this couple
I'm
That-
afraid.
that were together for like 10 years, had 3 kids together, and if it turned out that they were cousins.
I've seen
Oh,
that. I've seen that too much on the internet. I
I
always,
felt-
I
That's
always see that
rough.
online.
What would you do in that situation?
It's too late. We already have kids.
That's what I was thinking. I was just like, I
What
mean, what
else-
else?
what can we
What can
do?
we do?
None
you-
are we married. We have kids. Not
Yeah, that-
one. We
that's-
have kids.
Yeah, that's the
Plural.
thing. It's the kids part that gets me.
It's
I
once
know
you
that,
had the
man.
first kid, it was already too far to back out. Now you've done it twice or more.
It's okay. The royal family does that shit all the time.
That's gross.
It's true
That doesn't
though.
make it better. I know it did.
Inbreeding is like a thing.
well, it's not. I'm gonna say, it's a thing. It's been
Well, it's
around
not a
since
thing.
ancient times.
Yeah, because they're trying to keep it in the fam. Like they don't
In
want
the family.
outsiders. Gross.
That's exactly. It's
People are weird.
it's biblical, basically.
Is that a red? That's a red flag.
That
We
is
all
a
kiss
red
our
flag.
sisters in the mouth.
The royal
You know, that
family
was
is a red
major
flag.
red flag.
What? What did you say? We all kiss our sisters in the mouth every once in a while. Who's this we?
Right,
Who's this
yeah.
Nonsense.
Who's this
That's a
we
you
shit
thing.
talking to?
You do that.
I have no
What are the-
desire to kiss any of my sisters in the mouth.
What are the red flags? Are we doing this? You say you're doing this by segment, right, producer?
Yeah, I guess
mean,
we started
whatever.
like workplace red flags. I guess.
You said work-based red flags.
Yeah.
Workplace red
Oh.
flags.
Hell yeah, I got a few that I can.
Oh, go for it.
Lord have mercy.
I mean, I remember a few weeks ago I was talking about my supervisor who was like refused to admit when he was wrong. That's a red flag.
Oh, regarding your schedule thing.
Yeah.
It's
And
not
he
even.
never apologized, did he?
He did not.
Of course not. Why would he?
Probably forgot about the whole thing the next day.
Nah, and in his
Meanwhile,
mind,
I
he's
was
not
like
wrong.
heated the whole night.
In his mind, he was never wrong. It doesn't matter. You're over there getting pissed. He's like, I don't understand why he mad.
What you mad for, Jeremy?
Come on with this. Come on with this stuff. Like, it's nothing
And
wrong.
that's a red flag too in itself, that like a supervisor should always have their employees' best interests in mind. Because you want to keep them happy, you want them to perform at their best. Morale goes a long way to making sure things get done. If you're mistreating your employees, then obviously they're not going to perform as well. Or they're not going to
Oh.
want to, rather.
Look at you using common sense. That's not there. That's not often happens in the workplace. It's cute though. It's
doesn't-
cute that you think that.
I can attest to that because I try to be. My thing is, I try to be as transparent with my guys as much as possible. Like, I tell them exactly what's going on. I don't hide nothing.
Just be real.
You know what I mean? And I tell them the truth of what about the situation. Like, because especially since I'm new to the zone where I'm working at,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times I'll ask the guys who've been in there for a while. Like, I'll get a job assignment and I get the guys that are working with me, and they'll tell me, "Yo, we've done this 1,000,001 times." I'm like, "So then why are we doing this now?"
Right.
And it'd be just like they be as confused as I be, and I'm like, "Look, we gonna do what we can. All right, we're not gonna kill ourselves. We're not gonna overstretch, overwork, nothing. We just gonna do what we can. And as I get the information, I pass it along to them. You know what I mean? And I think they appreciate it. So, and I'm always willing to take ideas too. I'm not one of those, oh, we do it my way or it's not getting done at all. And like, look, listen,
That's my red flag for all people, for all coworkers.
man,
What?
Where like you just don't want they don't want to listen to any ideas. It's I
Oh,
want to do it this way, so
my
you all
way.
want to do it this way. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, no, the other supervisor that I have, she is like more open to suggestions. Like the other day, I went to her because I noticed like on my days off, whoever they have covering for me does a crappy job. And it's mostly because they don't know what the hell they're doing. We got a bunch of new guys. They usually put people there, the new guys, so they can get the rope, but they're only doing it like once or twice a week. That's not enough to really understand, especially like when it's on regular days. They don't know what to do on busy days. So I came up with a suggestion, be like, hey, I can give an outline of everything that I do at the times that I usually do it, so that way they know what targets to hit and make sure that by this time this should be done. And she was like, yeah, that's a good idea. And she wrote a list, and I put it where my station is, so that way whoever's covering for me, my coworker just shows them and be like, hey, this is what you got to do. And that's
good. That's smart.
Stuff like that. It's like, that's all it takes, just listening, because sometimes people have good ideas.
I don't want to
Not everybody listens.
Also,
Everybody doesn't have listening skills.
true, but not everybody also has good ideas too. So I can see that part. Sometimes people are just stupid.
There's only one bad idea. Ideas are only bad based on the results.
That is true.
Yeah. Let's go on our Instagram later.
No, that's a good philosophy.
Bad ideas are only. Say it again, too.
Ideas are only bad just based on results.
You should say ideas are good or bad based on the results.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the honest truth. Hey,
Well,
everything sounds like a good idea until the end results.
Well, then doesn't that matter? I mean, doesn't that depend on the execution of the idea? Because we can sit here and be like, that's a good idea, nigga, and then it fails.
Then it was a
That's
bad
what makes
idea.
the idea bad.
That was a bad idea. It sounds like there's a difference between...
Execution's part of the plan.
Yeah, there's a difference between it sounding like a good idea and actually being a good idea.
You know, execution. You can't exclude execution from the idea, because the idea comes from the execution itself as well.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounded like philosophers on the podcast, bro.
What was I gonna say? Shit.
Crack, cocaine,
I lost my train of thought.
marijuana.
Oh no! So basically, like, I saw I saw a TikTok where they were like mimicking, but like saying how they act as a supervisor or whatever. And I was thinking, like, if I was a supervisor, I'd be the type to just be honest about how I run things. I would be like, hey, these are the rules. You know the rules. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but you know the rules. You know what I mean? So, like, for example, like, if we're back at Target, the whole headphone thing or whatever, be like, listen, you're not supposed to listen to headphones. I'm not going to say anything, but you're not supposed to listen to headphones or whatever.
Oh, that was Aaron.
Yes. That exactly. He was like, I know.
Short Aaron?
Yeah, short. It's like, I know you guys are going to do it. And if somebody else catches you, I'm not going to be on your side. But I'm not going to say anything. It's one of those situations. Like, I feel like that's fair,
That's a yellow flag for me.
That's a yellow flag?
Not necessarily a yellow flag, which means proceed with caution. You know what I mean?
Proceed with caution.
Proceed with caution.
Or with the addendum that, like, if it happens too frequently, then that's it. Then I got to start cracking down.
Okay. Now, if I catch you doing it, I'm not necessarily going to look the other way. I'm going to just be like...
Yeah, I'm going to be like, yeah, come on. You know what you got to
do. That's what he did. He'd be like, oh, bro. Because, like, in the back, it was so dumb to have that rule. Because, like, you actually could have headphones if you were in the back.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I could. They always let me have headphones and I had to do back stuff.
Well, see, that's the thing. You in the back, if they giving you an assignment and you're going to stay in the back room, not going to do nothing else, like, you could have, like, even sometimes I would have, like, a little speaker and just play music if I know I'm just going to be backstocking and
that's the only
But
thing.
If you're on the floor, if you're going back
you're not
and forth
supposed to have
between
headphones.
Nah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That was also why I always wear a hat, those skull hats. They will cover my ears for a reason.
You gotta be smart about it.
Nobody said anything, so.
Yeah, because you were smart about it. But, everybody ain't so damn smart. Now I'll give you examples with me, right? And I'm probably revealing a little too much. MT ain't listening to this.
Are
Yeah.
they?
Obviously, the MT
your
is
trains together.
riddled. Huh?
I'm fucking around.
Oh.
You like NTA's listen to this, like get your traffic together.
Oh, speaking of which, they're gonna start increasing weekend service.
Hey.
So, yeah, service on the weekends will probably be a lot more frequent as the year goes along.
I
But
don't have to
anyway.
wait 30 minutes between trains.
No, you'll probably go from like, if it's like a 10-minute wait on the weekends, it'll probably be like 6 to 8, which is like during the week.
That's
Anyway,
like regular, yeah.
Exactly.
That's perfect for me for someone to start on the weekend job.
Exactly.
for it.
See, they forget people still work on the weekends.
They can turn those trains into express trains every day, and I got no complaints at all.
Agreed. So yeah, we have a boatload of rules that when it comes to specifically safety, like in my department, specifically maintenance away, we have our own rule book that's in addition to the general rule book that we have, right? Employee handbook. A lot of times we be on the cusp of bending those rules just so that way we can be more productive, because if we followed every rule to a T, we would never get work done. Like, never.
I feel like that's everywhere, though.
Oh, I agree. But in my type of job,
Well, yeah, yours is a little bit more
safety
deadly.
sensitive, and
Yeah, the more deadly.
Right. So when it comes to the supervisors, a lot of them know, like, hey, listen, you're using some unconventional methods, so be safe while you're doing it. To the point where if you clearly break a rule, I gotta report you.
right.
Those are good. Those are some good green, yellow flags that, you know what I mean? If you get a supervisor that's just do it like this, or you know what I mean, shutting the whole job down, you lose the men.
Right.
You lose them.
Because then that usually happens with people who are like new on the job, versus like people who have been there for years. They know how shit's done, and then the people who are come in and be like, "Oh no, it's supposed to be done this way." It's like, yeah, but I've been doing this for mad long already. Like, I know how it's supposed to be done.
I know. I hate the people that's like, the rule book says we gotta do this. I was like, all right, yeah, the rule book says that, but like I've tried it like that several times, and it takes me 2 days to do that. Follow the stupid rule book. Well, instead, I can get this done in an hour.
Yeah, so supervisors who don't listen are just major red flag. Even higher ups, when you go high up the chain, people who never worked on the ground floor,
they're the worst.
Grassroots, they're the worst kind of people. Major red flags.
Who try to dictate everything.
They're just assuming things. They're like, oh, well, this says this, so we should do this. Like, that's not how this works.
Well,
and that's one of the things like I appreciate about like the director of my department. I don't see him a lot, but when I do see him, he's a little bit more receptive to like what I gotta say when it comes to things that I'm experiencing or whatever. It's not like he's just like, oh well, talk to the supervisor, or like casting me aside or whatever. I feel like he genuinely does. Like I brought up that there's machines that we use, they're not like working properly, and he looks into it and he brings people in, like the people who are supposed to like look at it. Like he does what he has to do as like the director of the department. So it's like I appreciate bosses like that who actually seem to care about their people. Then you got other people who don't even care to know your name.
My favorite word is seem.
His favorite word is what?
My favorite word for that is always like, they seem like they care.
Seem. That's all I can say.
I actually like it when my bosses show up to my jobs.
I actually like it when the boss is there.
Huh?
I like it when the boss is there, like, oh yeah.
You like it?
Yes, because it's like, yo, okay, if I get a job to replace, like, just say rails, right? And I don't have a work train, so I got to use the hooks. I got to use actual hooks to lift them out. I want to make sure, like, if my boss shows up to my job to make sure that everything's running smoothly, or they offers like, hey, look, you can start the next one while they're finishing up this one. You can break the next one out and keep it going like this. Or they'll give me like a heads up, like, hey, look, when you get to this spot, it's a little harder to get out or whatever. Like, they'll help kind of oversee, maybe see things that I don't see. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Something you
prefer
could
it
have
like
missed.
that. Right, something I could have missed. Or when I first started working overnight again, last month in March, when I first went back overnight, my boss would actually go to the job site and scope it out before I even showed up. That way, when I did show up, he'd be like, look, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I'd be like, okay. So now I have a little bit more of a picture of what I'm looking at. You know what I mean? And it helps me run the job better. And then if he stays, cool. A lot of times they'll go to the next job and be like, okay, let's do the same thing with the other supervisors. I prefer it like that. Sometimes I don't always have that, but when I do, it makes me feel better because I'm like, okay, they know I know what I'm looking at, and they trust me to get it done. Those are some.
Back to the listening thing for you.
Can y'all hear me?
We heard you loud and clear. Oh, someone's having
Technical
headphone issues.
difficulties.
On your
Alright,
end.
ignore him.
Hello?
Yeah,
Ignore that
we hear
man.
you fine.
Damn it.
They're fine. He can't hear himself, so he's panicking.
Can y'all hear me
Right.
now?
Yes.
I can't hear
We always
anything
could hear
either.
you. Yeah, we
I don't
don't.
know if it's my.
Anywho,
I can't hear nothing.
Damn
What's
it.
going
Beats.
on? Who's talking
Hold
about
on
me?
a second, guys.
we'll just keep going. Rate,
Yeah.
any
As we
any input?
continue. Like,
This
I
is
got done right now. We need
distracting.
to. He needs to mute his mic. All
I
hear is
know you could just. I know.
I'm like, bro, my brother, please. Nah, I'm pretty much good. I want to work on. We go to like relationships or friendships.
Oh, the
we could
fuck's going on
do
here?
friendships next.
That. There's one. I have one wrestler that comes to my mind automatically is I hate enablers.
What happened?
Like me. There we go.
Enablers.
Enable. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I run on a very system of like I need you to tell me when I'm fucking up, because I believe I'm always fucking up, but I can be wrong. If objectively speaking you see this, you're like, no, you good. I don't need you to. If I know I'm in the wrong, if someone else is like, why are you doing this? I need someone who's like transparency in all things as a friend.
Yeah.
Are we still talking about co-workers and supervisors, or have we moved on to like partners? Because I think that can apply to both.
We moved on
we
to like
moved on to
friendships.
Friendships and relationships.
Yeah, I guess we
Oh.
could talk about both. Cause like, I definitely agree with that. Cause there have been times where maybe not like for me. I mean, I don't even think I've ever had somebody be like, "Yo, you fucking in the wrong." Thankfully, I've never.
I'll tell you right now.
Thankfully, it's never happened to me, but I've seen it happen with other people, and I wouldn't be close enough to be the person to tell them that they're wrong, but other people would be like, yeah, you know that you're good, like nah, but like clearly they're wrong. Why would you like try and build them up and be like, nah, they're okay? Like no, that you need to be like if you're their friend, you need to be the one who brings them down a peg if they need to.
I'm the rude friend. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna tell you straight up when you fucking up. You ain't gonna like it at all.
No, we need that friend though. You
Yeah.
need that friend. You need them.
Everybody
Or
needs
them,
a friend
whatever.
like that, cause like that's
I
a
learned a
real
lot
friend.
about
Cause it like for like any of you guys, for example, like if you were clearly in the wrong, I'm be like, yo, what's going
Wrong
on?
for
Like
that.
you
Yeah.
clearly. I feel like I've done it for you, Jay, where we've been having like discussions about certain things. I'd be like, yeah,
No, so what I do, no, real talk, because what I do is I'll ask. I'm like, yo, am I bugging for this? Am I wrong for that? Like,
that's true. Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's what I do.
at least you're
Because
self-aware.
I've just had a situation where I was having a discussion with somebody and she said something real slick, and I was like, I kind of blacked on her. I'm like, yo, why would you say that? And I screenshotted the conversation and showed it to somebody else. And I was like, yo, tell me where I went wrong here. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And he was like, yeah, she spoke to me about this. And I had to tell her, yo, what you said was majorly disrespectful. It's disrespectful to any man that you say it to, no matter jokingly or not.
Right.
And she couldn't accept the fact that she was wrong. And I'm like, this is why she and I have this falling out all the time. And I'm like, it bothers me when people don't accept accountability. You have 5, 6 different people telling you, yo, you're wrong for that. You should never say that. And yet you'd be like, no, I've said it before and it wasn't a problem.
Or
why is it a problem now? Because it's a fucking problem.
Or even if
someone didn't call you out on it the first time.
Yeah. Even if
there's a difference.
They did do what they did. And like at first they were just like, like they didn't see that they were wrong. At least have some dignity and be like, I'm sorry. For like whatever, I don't know why people are deathly afraid or they just refuse to apologize. Nobody likes apologizing.
Major red flag.
That is super like mega red flag. And I don't know why people don't like being wrong. Like they just it defeats them. And that's the thing about apologies. There's ways to apologize without being like 100% like okay, I was 100% wrong. Like people have reasons for doing things, and it's never black and white. There's always gray area. So there might have been some reason that you did what you did that you feel like was justified, but you can still apologize for it while still feeling that way. Like if you got into an argument with someone, like I really apologize for letting things getting out of control. That's it.
Look, I apologize for my tone.
You didn't say you apologize for what you said or apologize for how you said it. You said you apologize for letting things getting out of control. That's it.
Right.
There's several ways to do that. There's like, I apologize for my tone. I apologize for the way I handled the response.
Exactly.
I apologize for my response towards this. You know, some things you say are technically right. Some people need to hear it.
Exactly. You can be right, but like the way you say it is wrong. And then
tone matters. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Tone always matters.
And it's just like, it boggles my mind how people just refuse to say sorry. Like, what is so bad about saying sorry?
I don't know. I saw this TikTok of this guy. He was saying like, you don't have to be unkind to be truthful. Like you can tell, like we talk about how we all need that friend that tells you exactly what you quote unquote need to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always a certain way and a certain time and a certain place that you can say that to them without being disrespectful.
Absolutely.
And I think people think that because, you know, you need to hear the truth no matter what, that you have to be disrespectful about it. It's like, no, that's not always the case.
You can tell the truth. You can always tell the truth.
You can always tell the truth. You don't have to be unkind about it.
Yeah.
It's all that matters is the delivery.
People who don't apologize and when you tell them and they will respond, you know, negatively as
they get defensive. They get defensive about it.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, producer, they don't apologize. And it's like, okay, you don't have to apologize for what you said, but you say, you know what? Okay, I didn't mean to offend you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that it got to that point. You know what I mean?
There's ways to go about it that can mend fences. I truly meant to offend you. There's ways to go about these things that don't have to end in like a fight or an argument or any kind of negativity.
Absolutely. Those are major red flags. What about what are some superficial red flags that y'all got?
Superficial?
Yeah, like
in what terms? Friendship or just in relationships?
Both. Let's start with friendships.
Superficial ones?
That's like, you're talking about like physically, right? Like,
no, like it could be like surface level personality.
Oh, I guess people who don't listen, like, I mean, that goes back to like the to the coworker thing or like the supervisor thing, but just like in general, people who just don't listen. Like they'll let you say what you gotta say, and then like they don't contribute to the conversation. Like it's one thing to do that with coworkers. Like I joked about it before. It's like I'm not their friend, but if you're somebody's friend or somebody's partner, you probably should listen to them if they're talking to you, even if it's something like mundane. Like if they're just going through stuff, or if they're just telling you about something they went through, or like their day. If they need somebody to talk to, they probably don't got nobody to talk to.
Sad. Sorry.
Yeah.
Also, on the flip side, just because somebody doesn't want to talk doesn't mean that they're like trying to like distance themselves or anything like that. Because I'm that type. I don't like talking about
to me.
I don't like talking about myself or what I go through or anything like that. That doesn't mean that I'm trying to like I don't want to talk to you. It's just that's who I am. I don't like talking about myself. If you ask about it, like stuff that I will answer usually, but I'm not going to be the first one to bring it up.
No reason to. That's how I am.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
It's not no, it's not a character flaw. It's just a personality trait. You know what I mean? Like there's neutral personality traits. Like someone who doesn't speak very often, someone who's quiet. That's not a bad thing. Like being introvert, it's not a bad thing. It's not necessarily the best thing in the world either. It just is.
Not even an introvert. That's the part. The funny thing, I'm not even an introvert. I just don't want to talk. There's no reason for me to talk if I'm not talking to.
You're situational introvert / extrovert.
I am both.
Yeah, you're both.
Yeah, based on my environment.
It depends on what situation you're in that determines how.
Based on the test, based on that personality test I took, I'm fully introverted. But like I said, if I'm ENFP.
ENFP. What about you, producer?
I don't remember. I did that thing so long ago.
We're gonna have to do it. We're gonna do an episode where we do it now on live.
Personality test.
I'll do it with you.
It's a good idea. I think for me, some surface level red flags for. I used to like. Okay, I had to get over this as I got older, but people who don't respond in a timely fashion, that used to bother to. Like it used to irk me to my core.
I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
But it was like, are you really that busy?
Yes.
That you can't take 2 minutes just to respond to something I said, especially if I'm asking you something regarding a time. You know what I mean?
Tell you the truth, that's why I keep my read receipts on for all iMessages.
See, that's what bothered me. It's like you obviously took the time to read my message.
That's
I'm saying you'll know if I read it. Because like if it says delivered and nothing, that means I didn't see it. That means I'm actually fully busy.
Or I read your notification.
Nah, I keep my notifications off. It just says message from person.
You don't have the preview on it on the lock screen?
Nah, I took that off. I took that off when I was in college.
No,
I took it off too.
I keep it on,
but it's like after this.
Yes,
maybe.
So it's like for me, when I do that, I look like if I'm at work or something like that, and I see I got a notification, I'll read it like real quick just to see, do I have time to respond to this? If no, I leave it. If yes, then I respond to it. Sometimes I don't have time to respond to it, but I know what you said. And that's where I get tripped up too, because then like I responded to it in my head, but then I never actually did it.
That's why I took it off. If I don't have time to answer, I don't want to look at it.
I mean, usually I'll see it later.
It's not about seeing it later, because if I look at it now, my brain, I'm going to make the response. And in my head, in my memory, I sent the response. But I just in my brain, I typed it out and I sent it. So then that's why I'm like, if I don't see it, I'm not going to look at it until I have time or I have the space to respond to.
I guess
Because
my
of my-
justification is that if I'm gonna be on my phone again, so when I have time to respond, I'll see it again and be like, oh yeah, I gotta respond. But what pisses me off is because I don't know if this is an issue for you guys, but like Messenger, it deletes whatever like I type out. Like if I were to type out something and like, oh, let me check something else real quick, like if I wanted to fact check what I was about to say, I exit the thing, go to like the internet, and then go back to finish the type. It deletes it.
Oh,
That
not
pisses
on
me
my
off.
phone.
I don't know why it does that. And then like
I don't think I can problem.
I don't know, maybe it's
my
an
phone doesn't
Android
do that at
thing.
all.
When
Man,
I have
I'm
to like
sorry.
close, I have to close the app and then reopen it for it to show up again, and it's so annoying.
Oh.
Nah. I know for a fact it doesn't happen because I typed out a whole paragraph to answer someone and forgot to send it. And then when I went back to it, I was like, why has that person responded to me? I clicked the message. The paragraph was still typed up on my screen. I was like,
Okay.
Nah, I would never.
I wrote sorry and then sent the message like, my bad, bro. I meant to say
And
this.
that's kind of why I got over it, because it was like I would do that a lot. I've done it a lot over the past few years where I thought I responded and I'm like, yo, why hasn't this person responded to me yet? And then I'll go open the message and my whole response is still there. And I'm like,
Yep.
oh,
My bad.
it was me, a sign.
I got
It
over it. I
happens.
think when I got to like 22, I was like, I can't get mad at someone if I do it all.
Yeah,
So
you
So
gotta
people
be
would
like.
still. It was
Good.
if people like to follow something that I don't like about certain relationships. People would just assume that I get mad at them for not responding fast enough. I was like, I don't really care.
why?
It's all
Like if
that,
if I send you a message, you can take up to 8 hours to respond. If I see it, I'm gonna respond back when I got the time. I can't get mad at you for me.
Oh,
I can't get mad at you.
I give people 3 days.
case.
Nah, I had a friend, I would send them a message and they would take like 4 days to respond. And I was like, oh, okay. And I respond back in like that 3 minute and I put it back. I'm like, they're not going to respond for another day and a half.
That's
Like,
that's
that's what I
more
was
of,
doing.
that's more of a self-reflective thing, that they would get mad at it, so they assume you would too. And that's
Yeah.
the thing.
Never thought of
That's
that.
like what's the word? I know there's like a phrase for it. I don't know. I can't think of it right now. But it's like a thing where because they would react a certain way, they assume other people would react a certain way. And it's like that. I feel like that's more of like a this generation type thing, where people
Mhm.
just assume things about others. Like those people who don't type LOL at the end of every sentence. A lot of people don't do that. They think, oh, why are you upset? It's like, just because I don't put LOL at the end of my sentences doesn't mean I'm upset. Like, I'm just
Right.
responding.
Right.
I'm guilty of it too. But that's only if I know the person does that. So if they don't do it, then I'm just like, okay, what's going on?
It's like a tone thing. Like we went back to tone.
Yes,
You can't always read tone through text.
absolutely not.
So if you don't put LOL, it sounds like you're being serious.
It depends on what you're saying too. Like if you just say like "fuck you," then
Right.
depending on what the conversation was about.
Yay.
You see, you see, perfect example. If you don't know what we're talking about, and I just say "fuck you," and then that's all you see, like you're gonna be like, "Yo, what the hell?" But if I put like "fuck you," LOL after like a joke, then I'll be okay.
Or if you don't put the laughing emojis or something.
Yeah, it's all about
Perfect.
context. You need context. It's like through texting, you need context.
Perfect example. Just walks right into it.
You'd be like, "Yo, you guys
so-
fight?"
Right.
But only 2 seconds.
So, okay. We talked about certain friendships. Tay,
Okay.
you and I both are single men, right? And you've been out the game for a while. You've been out the
Yes.
game for a while. So,
We're in
into
the
our,
game for a while.
producer's been in the game for quite some time now.
Technically,
He's almost up
depending
to
on how you
five.
see it, he's technically
Yeah, I was
getting out
gonna
of the
say,
game,
like,
right?
I already beat the game. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not playing no more.
He's at Well, no, I was about to say you about to be at the finish line because you're about to.
Oh
About
well,
to get
yeah,
married,
I'm about
so-
to be. Yeah, I'm close to the end.
He did a second playthrough.
Yeah,
Right. No side missions at this point.
I'm side questing.
So okay, Brother Tay, what are some red flags that you've developed or that you've how can I say this? Like what are some red flags for you now while we go through like the single phase and dating phase that maybe you didn't notice or didn't really have an issue with back then before you were dating?
I have two. Two
Okay.
that come to my mind. One is people who just assume things about you in relationships. They're like, oh, like we meet. There's like, well, I just assumed you would like this based on like what you said on our other dates. Like, no, don't assume anything about me. I don't like
And
I don't like assumptions because anything in it, anything can be wrong. Like
Or it
back
can
to
be
that whole idea stuff.
misconstrued as something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, and second, the second one is I kind of don't like people who put too much emphasis on body or
oh,
That's
being
a
a,
good
or
red
just
flag.
anyone being a, or just putting emphasis on someone just being a virgin. I'm like, it's their life. Why even live? Like, I don't care.
can
Like,
I push back
I
on it
make
just a little bit? Just a little bit.
for you can maybe, but it probably won't affect me.
Of course not, but just for the purpose of conversation.
By all means, go for it.
The only thing I think about when it comes to like body counts, obviously what happened before us is null and void. You did it before me. I can't. You know what I
It's
mean? There's
whatever.
nothing that we can do about that now. Just
I
gotta
can't
move
fight
forward.
him now. Can't
Right.
fight him now. Maybe like next time.
The issue arises because one, it kind of just like the way that your sexual behavior kind of illustrates like it's very telling sometimes, especially considering the encounters. Like if you say like, okay, you meet a woman, she's been like you ask, oh, how many sexual partners have you had, right? Obviously, the
Individual.
more that she's had, or even either way, right? Even when it comes to men, because we can't just say that oh, women shouldn't have bad sexual behavior and just let men do what they want.
The more
Obviously,
you
when-
have, the more you know about yours. The more you know about your body, which you really like. That's what I.
Right.
That's what it looks like.
That also is like, okay, what kind of risk are you at? If you have a lot of sexual partners, obviously you've been at a higher risk for STD exposure and things like that. Now you're gonna bring that to me. It also tells me how, I don't want to say easy, but like if like can the situation become sexual very quickly, which tells me okay, this relationship is going to be based on more than sex or not. Like, is sex going to be the foundation of our relationship, or is it going to be like, are we trying to establish a connection? How much work do we have to perform in order to get to that sexual part, that type of stuff? Or if it's just like whatever, you know what I mean? Because I'm the type of person where I'm like, okay, I need to establish a very strong bond with you before I get in bed with you. If you're not like that, then, and if not, I mean, even if you are and you still have all these sexual partners, we still have to learn, okay, what's going on in your past relationships that you got to these points with these men, you gave yourself over to all these men and yet still failed in your relationships. Like, what's going on here?
Okay.
Like I said, it's the same thing on the other side. If a woman asks a man, okay, how many women have you been with? And he's like, shoot, I don't down like 40 chicks in my days. And it's like, whoa, my man, like you probably got some kids somewhere that we don't know about. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? So
Unless you use
just
protection
me.
all the time.
To that, I would say, I guess
it's
it
more
just.
of a tell you the truth.
Go ahead,
It's more of a judging behavior. Like I get your stance on it, but it's more of like the attitude people give towards it. That's the red flag for me.
Okay.
So if you're dating someone, they're like, oh, so based on just your whole response, and you're dating someone, and they go like, oh, I have 20 bodies, like 20 individual partners that they slept, different bodies. Instead of you being like, oh, like the red flag is the response to that statement. That's my red flag for it.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, of course, if someone like you're like, okay, you're more like, okay, well, you seem like more of like, I want to know why, and like, just were you protected? like this, and this. You want to ask more questions because you want to get to know more about the person. If they told you, my red flag would be like, oh, there's like, oh, I got 20. Like, I have had sex with 20 individual people. You're like, well, this date is over. And they just leave. That's my red.
Yeah, that's nah. That's exactly
for men or women, just in general. Like,
right.
Yeah. See, what
I
I
gotta
take from
dive
it,
deep.
like, I feel like
Yes,
if
just-
that's a concern of yours, then I feel like you shouldn't even bring it up until you start to notice, like, if it starts to, like you said about the whole sex, like, if it starts to lead too quickly into that, then I feel like it should be brought up. Like, hey, what is this going on here? Like, why are you trying to rush into this? If that's not happening, I don't even care.
Right, like I said, like whatever happened before us,
That's what I'm saying. Like,
it is what it is.
It shouldn't
life
even
goes.
come up until there's
or you get to that
reason to
situation.
bring it up.
But some people
But then-
some people are just like that though. They're just like, oh, how many people literally on the first date? So how many people have you slept with? And I'm like, well, right, cool.
You want to know? You sure you want to know the answer? Might not like it.
I mean, I would tell them, but I would be like, I would be honest. I mean, like, I really don't see the point in bringing them. I feel like that's a little too much on the first date. But
The first date, absolutely.
if you want to know, I'll tell
flag.
you. Yeah, on the first day is a little bit red flag. No, that's a yellow
Thank you.
flag because some people are just genuinely curious. I mean, that's small talk. Some people define small talk
don't
different
li-
ways.
It's a red flag. That's the first thing they ask you. They sit down
first
like, hey,
thing-
my name's this. How many people have you slept with?
How
That's what's
No, a red flag is people who like define so from their perspective, they may see it as, oh, I'm being upfront, I'm letting you know what I want, this and that. But if they're being like very demanding and strict about what they're asking for in a partner, I feel like that could potentially be a red flag.
That's a red flag if you're not one. I feel like any relationship wise, if you're not willing to compromise,
Like
is a red flag.
you
in
for
general.
example, you remember that episode of Fresh Prince where Will is going on a date
What the
with,
fuck
like,
is going on in the
I
background?
think it's I don't know, they're getting ready for bed. Where I think it's Jazz's sister,
Okay.
where like Will is going on a date because she looks hot or whatever, and then like she's like very demanding. It's like, oh, I don't want you looking at my these other girls while I'm at home raising 5 kids all by myself. No, not me. Something like that.
We jumped the gun on
I
those
watched a
5
lot of
kids.
Fresh Prince. But
If I go on a date and
that's what I'm
someone's like, I
saying,
don't
like,
want you,
people
what you gonna
who
do when
are,
I got
like-
these 5 kids? I'm kids.
that's what I'm saying. Like, some people see that as being upfront. I'm telling you what I want. But I feel like that's a red flag if it's like already planning out 10 years of our lives on the first date. It's excessive.
I have 5 kids.
There's those situations as you see it a lot on social media where it's like women of a certain age on the first date, if they generally don't see this thing going anywhere, like they want the ring after like 2 or 3 days, that kind of joke.
Yeah,
I mean, y'all ever seen those jokes?
yeah, I've seen it.
I try. No, I haven't. I don't have that on my TikToks.
Oh, well,
I got Reddit stories about like predators. That's what I got. Doesn't make it better. I ain't gonna lie to you.
what?
There was like a story where this has nothing to do with it, but like this story is like this girl was like trying to help out her 19-year-old sister who married her 38-year-old high school teacher, and I was like, that's predatory. Everything about this situation, and it was like a full story. And like the teacher didn't want the 19-year-old hanging out with her friends anymore, and like after like 6 months in the marriage, he's like, let's have kids right now. And the sister got her younger sister out of that. If anything, it was bad because the parents is like, why you take out that marriage? That marriage is good for her. I'm like, that girl is 19. That dude is double her age, trying to have kids right now. That's not a marriage. He's trying to do something.
It's bad.
You got any other red flags to say?
Sorry, my brain went straight to Reddit again. I was the compromising one. Anyone that's not willing to listen and compromise in a relationship, I feel like
That's
is
a
a red
good
flag.
one. That's a good one. Compromise. It doesn't have to
Well,
mean
what do
you
you-
sacrifice things that you like
No.
or anything like that. It's compromise.
It's
If
communication.
this, then that.
Not ultimatum wise. Just like, hey, like I noticed this thing. Can we at least talk about this and see, like, get all of our feelings on this? Like, I noticed you've been doing this a lot. This makes me feel a certain type of way. I'm not saying you should stop it, but I'm just saying, like, hey, can we talk about like other ways that we can work around this? That's what I,
I think
mean by
it's why-
compromise.
That's kind of why I asked producer Jay last week, like, if he noticed his fiance
Oh, about
wearing
that
less and
stuff.
going out more. Where do you find the middle
The
ground? type
line.
thing?
Where do I draw the line?
Yeah, where do you draw the line at type stuff? Like,
Yeah.
Where my invite not when I don't get the invite. That's like what's going on. Why am I not invited to these night dinners?
Right, like all these girl nights out every weekend, and I don't get one invite.
to
You know what I'm
add
saying? That's
to
crazy.
to add to, I guess maybe not to add to it, but like to bring up like compromise and stuff like that. A red flag is for me in like a relationship if they don't like talking things out in person. They want to do it through text.
Oh.
They want to do it on the phone or whatever. Like, no. Like, if we're going through
Really?
stuff, let's do it in person. Because I feel like that's the most effective way to convey how somebody's feeling and to understand how someone's feeling. Because if you're just doing it through text, you could be all nonchalant, just be like one word answers, okay. Like it could be dismissive through text. It's easy to avoid tough situations. But if you're in person, you can't avoid
It's
it.
easy to manipulate
You
as
gotta
well.
figure
It
it
also
out.
leads to misunderstandings.
Yes,
If
exactly.
you're always trying to solve your issues through text, or like, it's always easy to get lost in in translation on that.
Absolutely.
Text don't provide emotions of the word or the tone.
Oh, that's kind of what we were talking about. But when you stepped away, I
Yeah.
said just that you can't. It's hard to convey tone through text. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't put we were still saying, if you literally don't put the LOL, that's where he said F you. If you don't put the LOL, someone will really think that you like cursing them out. Or if you don't put the emojis, the laughing emojis, you can't, like, you know what I mean? You can't read the tone through the text.
Oh no, you're right.
And then you step back in.
I was laughing at the thing that we were arguing about. I forgot I said something. Me and you were on the group chat. He's like, I can't understand sarcasm through the phone. I was like, don't bring
Oh,
your
yeah.
shortcomings. I was like, don't bring your shortcomings on this. That was deep. I knew damn well I was wrong. I'm like, fuck it. I got to double down on this one, I guess. Like, I know I'm in the wrong. I'll apologize later when it becomes a thing.
It's a hill he's willing to die on.
It wasn't even that hill. It was like, look, I know I'm already. If he wants to, I will say it. But it seems like this is more of a joking matter, so I'm gonna go down with it. It's a dying joke. I'm gonna die with it.
I think for me, the biggest red flag will probably be an inability to hold yourself accountable. Like lack of accountability to me is like the biggest red flag, because I hold myself accountable all the time. Like if I screw up, I'll say it. Like, yo, look, I noticed this, or I'll ask, yo, did I do something?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's something wrong. There's something that I do make you feel uncomfortable. So just let me know, and I'll correct the behavior.
There's people who genuinely feel like they can do no wrong. That is a red flag. If you can't even think in any situation that, hey, what I might be doing or saying could be considered wrong from any perspective, maybe not yours, but from somebody else's perspective, it might be wrong, it might be bad, then that's a red flag. If that doesn't even cross your mind, that's a red flag.
Good. Yep. Agreed.
I have too much self-doubt to never be wrong. Every time
Well,
I do it,
that's the opposite end. When you think you're always wrong. And
Always
that's where I am.
I fully believe it all the time.
Oh man.
And I think some superficial ones that I didn't get to mention when it comes to like relationships, I think an unhealthy balance in your friendship circles, like if you
Yeah.
have too many guy friends, to me, it's a bit of a red flag. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
I think there needs to be a healthy balance. Like I got a healthy balance. I have a lot of guy friends. I have a lot of girlfriends and female friends. It's a healthy mix. That way I'm not getting caught up in one area over here and getting caught up and getting accused of stuff over here because I'm hanging out with these people. And
Yeah.
I think that a general looseness, like if you're just way too loose, for me, that to me personally, that's just a red flag.
What do you mean loose?
And now, huh?
What do you mean by that?
Wearing less and going out more all the time.
Oh, okay.
To me, that's a red flag.
You just don't like social. You
Drinking
just
and
don't like
drug
social
use,
people.
red flag. Hey?
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
I got nothing for that.
What are you talking about?
Well,
I drink,
I drink. I can't say nothing.
right? Like what? Am I a
But
red
you
flag?
don't have a problem.
High
Oh,
drug use.
that's
Extreme drug
well,
use is my problem.
excessive drinking. That's you got to be more clear.
What you mean
Right.
by
So
that?
I like
What you mean by
I
that?
used to
What do you
have
mean
a
by that?
problem. Like, and this is kind of what kind of broke me and Carrie up back in the day, producer. Like,
Oops.
remember, I used to not drink at all. Like,
Yeah.
y'all know me, I'm completely sober. She liked to drink, and it didn't surface until college, because in high school, obviously, it wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
But when we got to college, it was like, okay, we're away from each other all the time, and now you're out with these people and you're drinking around them. Like,
It's also
it didn't sit right with me.
it's not
It was a problem.
not even like just like the I'm not saying you were jealous, but like you start thinking like, oh, what's gonna happen? Like it's also concern. Like she can be in danger if she starts like drinking around
both.
people. So
Paranoia. It's
Paranoia.
'cause I would also think
It
that.
was borderline paranoia, bro. It was borderline paranoia.
It's
Yeah.
paranoia in the sense of you're not thinking. Although you and Will still have that whole thing of not getting cheated on, but it was more of a. It was more of a, if I knew someone like that, like because I drink, so drinking's not really a problem to me. But if we're out of state and every time, it's a long distance relationship, and every time we're on the phone, you're drinking with God knows who, I'm more concerned of. I don't know these people. My hope is you're safe. That's my paranoia.
And that's what it was. It was like, yo, you just met these people. You don't know them from a hole in the wall.
yeah,
And it reared its ugly head.
that's one thing
like,
I would never do. Drink around people that I don't know. I feel like in
Right.
any type of situation, I cannot bring myself to like even like I can drink like one or two just to feel like a little buzz.
Your limit.
But
Your
yeah,
limit. You
not
always
even
knew
my
your
limit. I wouldn't even go near my limit because I know
Oh,
what my
I
limit
understand.
is. But if I don't know anybody there, I can't. Like that's
Listen,
dangerous.
I don't actually do shots. I don't do shots unless I have someone next.
Exactly. I need
It's-
somebody
it's-
there to like
Yeah,
just
someone
not
at least
even
I
keep
know.
an eye on me, just so I feel safe.
I like having backup just in case I get violent.
So in case I get violent. And last but not least,
Well,
I think that's all I can think of for now. There are more. There's definitely more.
I have
But,
one in. I'll tell you one I had in high school,
Okay.
but I think I got over. I don't know if that's true or not. High jealousy was also a thing, and that was a red flag to me. Because I'm
High
like me. I'm
jealousy?
like you. I'm like you, brother Jay. Where I have a lot of friends that are boys and girls.
Yeah.
But a lot of people. If I was ever gonna have like a relationship at that time, I was like I don't want someone that gets jealous easily. Like, cause like they're like, why are you always hanging out with this friend? Like always with. I remember that was one of the things I made a joke. Like there was a girl that liked me, but they're like, why are you always hanging out with Cassandra, who's my roommate? I was like, cause that's my
Just
that's
my
my bro.
roommate.
We're roommates now, but at that time, like that's my bro.
Oh
I trust
yeah.
them. I like being around them. She's my roommate now, and I get to throw shit at her. But no stuff.
Yeah, that's
This roommateship is just sibling shit. Just messing with,
You know,
just bullying each other.
in what I will see, is that, well, when me and Carrie, we had a lot of the same friends. You know what I mean? My guy friends were her guy friends also. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So she introduced me to some of them, so I could trust them around her and trust her around them. I'm like, yeah, we good.
It's whatever. Yeah.
I gotta work for her. But when it comes to like other in relationships after that, a lot of times people would get jealous of relationships that I had with some of the women that I've been friends with for like 20 years. And it's like,
Yeah.
if something would have happened, it would have happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen now.
I've gone through that. Like I've had like relationships where the person gets like so easily jealous of just because I'm friends with a girl. Like just the fact that I'm friends with them. It's like that is enough to
I
set
hate
them. I'm
those.
like,
I
yo,
hate those
what?
people. I hate those people that are like, oh, men and women can't be friends. I despise you. To a
Yeah.
fault.
That's
Don't.
so childish.
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, I don't know. Anyone y'all got grind my gears?
I feel like this whole
I
episode
have a
was crying my gears.
I have a story for you that that made me very upset last week.
Go ahead, go
Go
for
ahead.
it.
This is on YouTube. A person found an 18-year-old homeless teen. Talking to them, the girl has a mental disability, but it was apparently that they were from Chicago, and they had lost their birth parents. They were in the foster system. They got picked up by foster family. Her and her brother. There was 2 siblings. And anytime that they struggled in school, they would tell them they were lying, they were faking it. And to the point, they didn't do anything for them, really. And to the point where, like, when they turned 18, they took them out of state and dropped them off at homeless shelters. So the girl tells the whole story, like how she was in school and like it was clear she was suffering from like a mental disability, and she talks about how she struggled with words and like how to pronounce certain things. But every time she would say like she needed help, they would just throw stuff at her and be like, "You're lying, you're faking this. I know you can do this." And like they were just using them as like a ploy just to get more money from like foster parents. And then as soon as the child hit 18. As soon as she hit 18, they drove from Chicago down to Atlanta, Georgia, and they dropped her off at a homeless shelter and left. And then the brother was 17 at the time, so she doesn't know where the brother is anymore.
Wow.
She doesn't even know if the brother's still with the foster parents. Yeah.
I definitely think I heard about this.
I didn't hear about it. Still,
I
insane.
don't like the fault. Tell you the truth, as I learn more and more about, and then there's a story that's going around on YouTube right now, how this 4-year-old was found dead after he was given back to his birth parents from his foster parent. He was with a foster parent since he was like 1. He spent 3 years with them. The birth parents got I guess the birth parents got him back. Their ACS. The kid was dead 10 days later from blunt force trauma.
Wow.
Because the father the mother said this. We don't know what the thing. And we just know that the kid died from blunt force trauma. The mother was like, "Oh, whenever the father got mad, he would duct tape his arms and legs together and physically abuse him."
Some people shouldn't have children.
Absolutely not.
And the reason she lost the kid in the first place, like when they was born, the child had like a high amount of THC in the system out the womb. So
it was getting high.
Probably, yeah.
Extreme amounts. It's you.
That's sad,
you can technically get high if you're pregnant, but it won't really be any bloodstream unless you do it like in a constant, heavy duty amount. Same thing if they find your child is born and they find like other things in their system, like crack. Clearly, you were doing something.
That's messed up. Some people just should not have children, bro.
Nope. Not really grind my gears, more of a sadness. But it makes me angry every time. Stories like
stuff like that.
This is literally the system failing kids. It's like
speaking
foster.
of the system failing kids, well, not necessarily kids, but y'all know what happened on the subway with the guy who got the homeless man who got choked out by that Marine.
Yeah,
And that
and
is
got
definitely
restrained. It was restrained by 2 other people as it was happening.
exactly. Talk about the system failing because that man has been arrested 44 times. And he's clearly mentally ill. And he's mentally ill, probably stemming from an incident where he saw his mother get murdered and chopped up and put in a suitcase. So,
which one, the Marine or the guy that died?
The guy that died, the homeless man that died.
Yeah, okay.
He has a long history of mental illness, and he's been arrested 44 times. But instead of getting him the help that he deserved,
just throw him back out there. They just
keep arresting him and sending him back out into the streets with no guidance and no help, no nothing, no resources. You know what I mean? Lived in the subways all this time. And you know what? I got kind of a bit of a grind my gears moment, just a little bit before we wrap up.
Go for it, Al.
Yeah.
We blurry.
So obviously I work in a subway, and it's like I come across all kinds of characters, like literally every kind of person that you can encounter in the subway. I've seen them. I've never been on a train with homeless people where I felt threatened or anything like that. And even if you did, there's a procedure to get the situation assuaged, so to speak, right? You're never supposed to take matters into your own hands because you get a situation like this where you wind up killing somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If a passenger is being disruptive, what you're supposed to do, you know that little red button that's on the end, that's in the, you're supposed to press that. It'll ring the conductor and you tell them, listen, there's a guy in this car who's being disruptive. He's making threats and so on and so forth. We need police at the next station. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but now they're telling you, like in certain stations, they'll tell you, hey, look, if you need the police, they're on the platform. Like they do it at 180th, they do it at 59th Street.
I'm sure
they say these things. If you
14th
need the
Street.
police, they're on the platform. And what the conductor will do is they'll call the rail control center and say, listen, this is train such and such. We need police at such and such station. We have a disruptive passenger. And then you let the police handle it. You don't take matters into your own hands and then try to choke somebody out. We've been through this already. You know what I'm saying? With Eric Garner, we've seen this. Why would you do that? You know, so that man died for nothing, really. He suffered a needless death, really. Because that didn't have to happen.
Did it?
So, I'll take us out.
That's a terrible note to go out on.
Right?
It is.
I mean, the other one wasn't much better.
I can't save these. I'm not a monster. I'm not a master. But thank you anyway for listening. Listening to this interesting episode of the podcast that I call Excuse Me, Brother. I've been technically the host. I say technically. I've been the host, Brother Tay, and also / producer, along with Brother Jay and Producer Jay. If you want to reach out to us, you can follow us on the socials. On Instagram is excuse_me_brother with an A, not an ER, because it's not racist. It's back. I haven't done it in 2 weeks, so we got to bring it back. We all know Producer Jay is racist. With TikTok, with the Excuse Me Brother ER, all one word, no spaces, because apparently Producer Jay doesn't like the space bar either. There's something wrong with you, brother.
I don't think TikTok allows you to put spaces.
Lies. Like I said, you can join us. Join us on the Facebook group. Excuse me, brother. Spaces like a normal sentence and with the ER, because we all know Producer Brother Jay is also racist, but he doesn't try to hide it. He's racist. He's racist. You don't like white people. I know the truth. Got him. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. Someone will read it eventually. Probably Brother Jay or producer. Most likely Producer Jay, honestly.
Probably.
Or Isaiah.
Yes.
Wait, Isaiah he has access to the
No, but he comments.
You can see it.
Oh yes, he will. Yes, he does.
Yeah.
That's why.
Thank you for listening.
That's it.
In the words,
see you next week.
Goodbye. Good night. Good morning. Good evening. And if I don't hear from you again, goodbye. Live your life. Now, excuse me as I go burn my hand.